functions, classify data tables using linear, quadratic, or exponential. And if you open up Unit 4, you see that we're doing 43 and 44. Let's do 43. Our objective here is to observe the effect of the minimization of variables of compound interest situation. Both the linear graph, represented by the initial balance and the constant monetary contribution, and exponential growth. And we're supposed to click on the simulator right here and post a comment. So to post a comment, post comments here. So post comments here. Vocabulary. Let's start with that. So principal. What is principal? Principal, the initial amount or present value of money in your investment. Interest rate. The annual interest rate stated as APR, which stands for annual percentage rate. Okay. N is number of compounding periods, also known as periods. R is the post comments here. Let's start with vocabulary. We're doing the vocabulary. The first idea you have to understand, we're doing the vocabulary, is that the basic formula, the exponential model, is y equals a times b raised to the x. Specifically, in finance, PV equals, PV, a future value. Okay, here we go. Vocabulary. Exponential model is y equals a times b to the x. Specifically, finance future value equals present value, open parentheses, which is times 1 plus r divided by n, close parentheses, raised to the power of n times t, where FV is a future value of money. PV is the present value of money. And R is present value of money, semicolon. R, let's put semicolons. R is the APR, annual percentage rate. N is the number of compounding periods, and T is the time in years. Okay. Some kind of periods per year. and T is time in years. So that is the basic vocabulary. Okay. So I'm going to post this comment so you can have it. And you are to post comments I want you to learn from this thing here. So you click on this, everybody, click on this. And if your simulator is not working, you should click it and activate the Adobe thing so it works. And we have to understand what's going on here. So there's three aspects to life and finances. What you're earning, you put in your savings. What you borrow on credit cards. And what you invest on the stock market. And there's different stock markets in the world. And one question I have is, how come you don't have local stock markets, and where are they? Yes, ma'am. Stock market is a place where you can buy shares of companies. Some companies are privately owned and some are public. Like Apple, you can buy shares of Apple. Everybody uses an iPhone. Maybe you want to buy that. When they at different times in the company's history, the price will go up and down depending on people are going to earn money or not. No, EPISD is a school district, which means it's a government entity. And they're more like a customer. They're a government entity. Like there's districts are set up by governments to organize people to serve them. Okay. Businesses that provide products can be public or they can be private. Family business is a private entity, like the grocery stores in my family, which didn't quite make 100 years, but the Waltons and Walmart did make it, and now they're a corporation and are now publicly sold, bought and sold, I believe, right? You can look this up in a stock exchange, and most consumers like you and I, we can buy into a fund which collects different stocks that you can buy and sell. And usually there's people that have that job of buying and selling. Okay. And recently I was looking at a place where we could do that. Here are some definitions. For your stock market, you can set your investment risk as high, moderate, or low. The potential for return is greater when the risk is high, but the potential for loss is also extremely likely. The green light shows you the amount invested, and the blue line shows you the amount that you contributed plus earnings. Multiple simulations are run using Generate New Values button. The previous high and low results are displayed. To clear the graph, change the principal monthly contribution or the length of investment, or click Reset to start again. Now, here's explorations. For savings and stock exchange, investigate the result that occurs when each parameter is changed. In particular, which parameter causes the results to change most dramatically. For credit cards, change the parameters for a monthly payment of 2% and a minimum payment of $20. How long would it take off to pay $1,000? Okay, so which situation do you want to start with? The savings, the stock market and savings, or the credit card? Class? Which one do you want to do? Savings and stock market or credit card? Okay, the votes don't seem very... All right. So let's read what they said about credit card. Change the parameters for monthly payment of 2% and minimum payment to $20 to pay off $1,000. How long will it take off to pay $1,000? So suppose you don't have any money, you decide I'm going to borrow $1,000. So here we have the initial balance of $1,000. The interest rate is 5.4. Who has a credit card?
I got a debit card, not a credit. Because isn't that credit doesn't exist, so you have to pay for it, and a debit's what you have now.
Yes.
Yeah.
A debit card would be your savings, right? Credit card is you borrowing money. So say I borrowed $1,000. That's the initial balance, my present value. Okay, and you can click here and it shows you what it is, the amount that you initially charged on your credit card. The monthly payment is $50. Okay, if you do a month, so let's look at the graph. When will it be paid off according to this graph? Looks like it's paid off in. Your current balance is in blue. So look at the blue. You initially owe $1,000. What's the red? What you owed. The green is your cost. So every month you're holding on to that, your cost is going. Okay? So eventually, it's pretty much at these months it's already cost. And it's paid off right then at 1 year and 11 months. How much did it cost? You'll be paid off in 2 years. So I guess I have to go one more month. It'll be exactly 2 years right there. My initial balance was $1,000. My current balance is $0. My current cost is $1,163. So how much did it cost me? For $1,000, how much did $1,000 cost me? $163.09, right? Now they said to change this monthly, to make it a monthly payment of 3%, but if I knock it down to 2 and a minimum payment of 20, right? Look at that. Your balance will be paid off in 6 years and 9 months, and the credit will cost you $600 if you change it to 2% and a minimum payment of 20. See, so look at that. So I guess I'd have to change this to, so I can see it to 10 years, so I can see it. Just changing that, look at that. From a 2% minimum, a minimum payment of $20, it now takes 6 years and 9 months, right there. Right there, it's paid off. And it cost me $600, $609.05. Right. So which parameter is the one that affects it the most? Should I change the interest rate? What if I could knock it down to interest rate? What's the lowest interest rate you guys have heard of? What if we do 10? Just changing it by that many and knocked it down to, instead of 6 years, it's 5 years. But if I increase my minimum 3%, or if I make my monthly payment a fixed amount of $200, how much could you do a month? $10 a month? Too little. $100 a month? That'll do it. What if I do 50? Anyway, so you're supposed to explore and decide what's what. Okay, there it is. If I do 50, it'll take me 1 year and 11 months to pay it off, and it'll cost me $100, more or less, $98.49. Okay. On the other hand, instead of making a monthly payment of $50, what if we did savings and we contributed $50? And the interest was 4.5, and we started out with $100. How long would it take to get to $1,000? How about 5 years? How about in a year? So let's do the 5 years. So move your slider, and to get that $1,000, it would take this long, because the green, there it is. It takes 1 year and 6 months to get $1,000 at $50 monthly contributions. So if you can wait a year and 6 months, you don't have to wait. If you borrow it, you get the money right away, but it takes 1 year and 11 months to pay it off at monthly payments of $50. Well, it takes 1 year and 6 months to get it, but they have to wait that long. But you don't know it. And if you miss a payment, then you get charged a lot. So that's the choices you have to make. Now, suppose we decided to put that in the stock market. So, but stock market is a long-term game. And let's see. How do we do this? Here's a year. Depends on the year. There's a year and 11 months. Like here we're doing a principal of $100 and the monthly contributions of 10. And you see that after 1 year and 11 months, you have $437. but only did monthly contributions of 10. Let's do 50. Where do we get the risk? Where do we put the risk, people? I don't see it. Right there. Let's do high. Or say then reset values. So there it is. And look what happened. Basically, we ended up with what? We had a low here and the previous high of that. The total value is 2,700. Earnings to date were 1,500, and we contributed 1,250. So we gained what, like 250? So there. The thing about the stock market, though, is that you don't want to be putting in money out all the time. You want to leave it there for a long time, so when you retire, you can't work, or something happens, you have something to get out. This applet will show you how to investigate savings, account earnings, card debt, and stock market. Okay. All right. So you follow those directions, make your explanations, and then make your conclusions. And that's it. So what happened? How much money did we end up with? 2,700, and we paid in 1,250. On the savings, we paid 1,000. We ended up with 1,000. Stock market, we ended up with 2,700, and that was at low risk. Well, at high risk, and at low risk, okay, right, new values. We ended up with 1,250 at low risk, and 1,000. And credit card, you only had 1,000, but you had to pay it, and it took you a year and 11 months to pay it. A year and 6 months. A year and 11 months. Okay. You guys have to make your conclusions. Thank you. This ends this part of the compound interest simulator. The only other thing I would suggest and recommend is that we look up a different simulator. Hold on a second while I pause this thing. Further, I would like you to get this financial calculator. Okay, it's it's both at Apple and Google. So you can try to install this. Anyway, so once you get it, go ahead and get it.